Hey everybody, it's GobletX, and welcome to the Duskmourn House of Horror Omniscience Emblem Quick Draft event. I don't know why they decided to go with such a word soup name this time around, but this is just Omniscience Draft again. If you've never played Omniscience Draft before, it's a very wild, very chaotic format where everyone has an Omniscience emblem that says that you can cast your spells for 0 mana from your hand. So instead of having to spend 5 mana to play your Drowned Diner, you get to just go 0 mana, draw 3, discard a card, which would be one of the most broken cards ever printed, and that is why you take card draw incredibly highly in this format. If you get enough cards like Drowned Diner, then you just loop them together where you draw 2 or 3, you draw 2 or 3, you draw 2 or 3, you end up drawing half your deck or maybe even your whole deck and just slamming down tons of threats and then having a counter spell or 2 up to stop your opponent from doing the same on their turn. It is absolute chaos. It's pretty much pure random lottery spin. As long as you draft the card draw higher than almost anything else, you're going to come up with a really powerful deck, and it's all going to be who draws those excellent card draw spells first. So, super chaotic format. We are drafting against bots here, so we have infinite time to make all these decisions, but Omniscience Draft tends to go pretty quick, and we will be keeping all the cards we draft today. So technically, strictly trying to win an Omniscience Draft, this is one of the easiest Drowned Diner picks ever. The only thing really competing is Roller Crusher Ride is cool, but doesn't actually work in Omniscience Draft. So it's just Drowned Diner over the Derelict Attic, as this one draws slightly more cards. So that's the pick here, but because you keep everything you draft, this is an opportunity to get some mythics like Roller Crusher Ride if you want to just rare draft stuff in a super chaos format instead of a normal quick draft. So we're going to start with the Drowned Diner here and see where we go from there. And one thing to mention, with that Omniscience emblem, the reason Roller Crusher Ride doesn't work is you're essentially casting everything for 0, so you would be casting this for x equals 0. You can choose to either use the emblem or not use the emblem. There's no halvesies where you can be like, well, use the emblem on the 3 and then use extra mana on X. You can't choose to do that. The emblem does give you 1 mana of every color each turn, though, so you can get a white, blue, black, red, and green every turn for activating abilities or for unlocking rooms that are sitting on the board. So the way that rooms work is you cast one of them for free, but the other half that's sitting on the board, you're going to have to use mana on it. So the game does provide you with 1 mana of each color each turn, but again, 1 mana of each color would be a Roller Crusher Ride where X equals 2, which is, again, not really worth taking over Drowned Diner. So let's start with that Drowned Diner and get this draft rolling. Pick 2, Marina Vendrell's Grimoire. This card is completely unplayable in regular draft, but is probably the most broken rare in Omniscience Draft. A draw 5 is almost guaranteed to draw you enough cards to hit your card draw spells like Drowned Diner and get you to play pretty much your entire deck in 1 turn. So you really don't have to worry about the downsides of this card. Keep them in mind for if you're playing like the 3 mana draw 2, lose 2 life. Do keep in mind you will have to discard 2 then draw 2 after you play this, but basically if you ever resolve the Grimoire, you're going to win the game. You take this over pretty much anything in this format if you're trying to win. Pick number 3 here. I think we finally have a pack with no draw 2s. There is one piece of card draw though, and I think we just take that. Creatures tend to be really filler. If you have any creatures in your deck, then you're going to have win conditions because your goal is to end up drawing enough cards that you've seen a huge chunk of your deck, so you only end up needing like 5 to 10 like big creatures in the deck anyway, so I never take them highly. I would rather have cards like Found Footage that help dig through the draft chaff and find your really powerful plays like the Marina Vendrell's Grimoire. So another card draw spell here, this time just to draw 1. Pick 4, there is 1 card draw spell here that lets us put 1 card from the top 4 into our hand. So it's good at digging for something specific that's powerful, but Unnerving Grasp can turn into a card draw spell with any of the rooms that draw cards when you play them. So when you have cards like Marina Vendrell's Grimoire, if you have cards like the Drowned Diner, this goes up pretty high in the pick order, and I think starting with both of these already, I'm going to take the Unnerving Grasp here and try to get some more card draw rooms. So let's grab that Grasp. Pick number 5. Here's a grab the prize, discard a card, draw 2. That's pretty good. Soul Rager is also decent. There are going to be a lot of games that end in literally 1 or 2 turns, where your opponent's going to draw their whole deck, play it all out, and play enough random ping damage that you just die. So any cards that draw cards over the course of multiple turns are certainly weaker on average than a card that's going to draw you multiple cards immediately, but they're still better than just like a 5/5 with no abilities or something like that, like just some random big creature. That said, I do think grab the prize for just immediate card draw is going to be better than Soul Rager. There are just a lot of games where you're going to play that Soul Rager and your opponent's going to just kill you in 1 turn anyway. Pick 6, another Drown Diner here, although Disturbing Mirth and Rickety Gazebo are both very playable pieces of card draw as well. The Gazebo, because a lot of the card draw in the format is room-based, so you can mill some permanents to let you draw more cards, and obviously if you mill any of your giant creatures, you're going to pick those up and play them. And then the Disturbing Mirth is super playable for the exact same reason. A lot of the card draw spells you're taking are cards like Drown Diner that are rooms, so you can play this, sack a Drown Diner that you've already used, and draw 2 cards. But draw 3 is bigger than either of these draw 2s, so we take that higher. For pick 7, here's a draw 1. Each player discards a card, you draw 1. Discard a card, draw a card, still good in the format because again, you end up with some amount of filler. Because you play 0 lands here, you end up with 42 or 43 cards by the end of the draft, so you only get to cut like 2 or 3 cards. So you're going to end up with some really bad cards in your deck, like just a 2/2 and a 1/1, like a Tunnel Surveyor or something. So you're going to have expendable stuff to discard to cards like Grab the Prize and Fanatic of the Harrowing here. And each player starts the game with only 3 cards in hand, so Fanatic of the Harrowing, when you're on the play, can do a lot to prevent explosive starts from your opponent. Pick 9, Derelict Attic now for the draw 2 room. Another great card to pick up with Grasp, and we are in an excellent position as we move into pack 2. We have 3 draw 3 rooms, a draw 2 room, and a draw 5 permanents, all to be able to pick up off Unnerving Grasp. This is a wonderful start to this draft. And here we just take the biggest creature, since there's no card draw. Technically Razorkin is card draw, but you're going to play 0 lands in your deck, so it doesn't really count. Pick 11. Cracked Skull, I think, is better than these other cards. You don't have 7 mana to put the counters on this, and you don't need mana otherwise. Combat tricks are incredibly narrow, and Don't Make a Sound literally doesn't work. Each player has an emblem that gives them 1 of each color of mana. Technically, if they had, like, activated some rooms or something with their mana, used some found footages with their mana, there's a possibility that you'll find the really narrow position where they don't have the mana left to pay the 2, but the vast majority of this time, this spell is just not going to work, so Cracked Skull is the only playable card. It's still pretty narrow, basically only good in your opening hand, but if you have it in your opener, looking at your opponent's hand and specifically making them discard the Drowned Diner, like, it's good in your opening hand on the play, and exactly only then. But it is good then. Twist Reality is actually pretty decent in the format because it can actually counter spells. Does not let them pay mana to get out of it. Alright, pack 2, pick 1. Oh, this is such a lucky hit here. Such a lucky hit here. Because I was gonna take the Mirror Room Fractured Realm pretty much no matter what. And because of the lack of card draw in the pack, I think it's genuinely just the right choice. If there was a Drowned Diner, it might be better to take Drowned Diner over the Fractured Realm, but I think Fractured Realm is better than Bookworm, although Bookworm is great in the format as well. Draw a card, discard a card during your end step each turn to help you dig through your filler. But what's super sweet about Fractured Realm is if we put Fractured Realm on the board, which is free to do, then all of our rooms trigger twice. So instead of draw 3, discard 1, it's draw 6, discard 2. Instead of draw 2, it's draw 4. Even our Grimoire triggers twice, and it's a draw 10. So I'm going to take the Realm over the Bookworm. Pick 2 now, we have Unnerving Grasp and Get Out. Get Out might genuinely be better than Unnerving Grasp, surprisingly, because the big value of Unnerving Grasp here is being able to pick up a room and replay it. The 2/2 body doesn't matter too much. The Get Out, you can pick up 2 of your rooms and replay both of them, and if you only have 1 room on board, you can still just pick 1. You don't have to have this stranded in your hand, so I'm going to take the Get Out here. There's no straight up card draw, so we have to take pseudo card draw, take one of the bounce spells. I'm going to take the Get Out. The only thing that the Manifest Dread bounce does particularly better in this format is it can bounce non-enchantments like the Grimoire. Alright, pick 3. Another Twist Reality is fine. Duskmourn's Domination is fine. There's no card draw here. Cathartic Parting is also fine because you can get a little worried about milling out, so removal that shuffles cards back in is decent. Mutilator actually also fine as well. We do play a million rooms that draw cards, so we just sack one of those for this. Yeah, Mutilator might be the best here over Twist Reality. I'm going to take it here. That seems decent. Pick 4. Looks like a lot of misses here in pack 2, but that's okay because we got like absolutely loaded pack 1. Looks like we're just taking the biggest creature this time. Suppose we could take Leech over Snatcher. This is better in turns where you're just drawing through your whole deck because you're going to play a bunch of rooms and ping your opponent with this card. So with enough copies of this and grab the prize and stuff that does direct damage to your opponent, Leech is one of the cards that can stack into killing your opponent without even having to go through any attacks. But that's really just when you're chaining off and things are going super well. In that case, I think you just get enough beefy creatures anyway. Well, I guess Fractured Realm doubles it too. I don't know. We're probably supposed to take Snatcher. But Leech is a fun option. I'm just going to take Snatcher. Pick 5. No card draw here. We got a mediocre removal spell or a mediocre creature. Mediocre removal it'll be. Emerge is also okay. All right, we got a found footage now. Dig for what we need and draw it. Another Derelict Attic is wonderful. Get that draw 2 into the deck. Draw 1 is fine. Actually, found footage I think is better for the card selection, even though you do have to spend some emblem mana on it. Very worth noting, the Omniscience emblem is only helping you cast spells from your hand specifically. So anything that lets you cast spells from exile, you have to spend your 1 mana of every color on it. So I'm not very high on Diversion Specialist, because if you hit something like a Drowned Diner, you will never have double blue. So that Drowned Diner's just gone forever. If you hit a Vile Mutilator, you're never going to have 7 mana. Snatcher, you're never going to have double black. Grimoire, you're never going to have that mana. So there's a lot of actually duds you can hit off of Diversion Specialist, to where I think I would just take Snatcher over it. Or even Unable to Scream would be fine. Pick 10. Chandelier can make sure we don't mill out, or Cadaver Lab Defiled Crypt. Really doesn't do much. It's basically just pick up a creature from grave. Yeah, we don't have any creatures that are going to be particularly good for that. I'll just take the Chandelier. Pick 11. There we go. Another Twist Reality. Don't mind that. Pick 12. Super filler. Guess the Ripper can sack an extra room to clear out one of our opponent's small creatures. And unfortunately, we found one of our instant cuts. Combat tricks are almost just completely unplayable in the format. Mind Skinner's fun. But there's card draw here. If Rickety Gazebo weren't in here, I'd probably try out the Mind Skinner. Fun little option there. Try to mill our opponent out. But Rickety Gazebo is genuinely fantastic card draw. Mill 4 and then pick up 2 permanents from among the milled cards. So you draw 2 cards out of the top 4, but this digs for all of the most important cards in the format. All of your rooms are really the important spells, and they're all permanents. You can pick up Grimoire as well as a permanent, so you can pick that up with Gazebo as well. Pick 2, another Derelict Attic. We'll take that. If we will the Malfunction, sometimes this plays kind of insane in the format. But we're on Attic for now. Pick 3. Looks like a Commune with Evil card selection. Pick 4, another Derelict Attic. We are just rolling through the deck. Pick 5. Altenac, probably. No card draw in the pack. I really don't count Fear of Failed tests. The board state is almost always super cluttered. Everyone's running infinite copies of Meat Locker as well to stun something like that. So yeah, we just take big finisher threat over the murder. Pick 6 looks like Disturbing Mirth, but let me double check. Yep, definitely Disturbing Mirth. Pick 7. Another Chandelier. If we've got enough card draw, we might be like legitimately just a Chandelier loop deck, which could be pretty fun. Yep, take it. Pick 8, another Rickety Gazebo. Love to see that. Taking it over Twist Reality as the only other card particularly good in Omniscience. And then we get Twist Reality, pick 9. Get one, pick 10. That's a little interesting, because Malfunction can play really well at the right time in this format. I think we still just take Twist Reality over it, though. Cracked Skull here. Just the Beastie. They're both filler for sure. Grab the prize. Oh man, am I going to have to play the combat trick? Nope. We got a last pick, enter the Enigma. We almost had to play the combat trick here. Yeah, I have one card in the sideboard, and it is strictly a combat trick. All right, let's call it a deck here. Let's hop into the, for some reason, ranked Omniscience Emblem format, and see how the lottery spins for us today. Well, this hand makes me really, really sad because we don't have the card draw to go with the Fractured Realm. If we had a single room to go with Fractured Realm, it would be such a snap keep. You basically always have to try to mulligan into a draw your whole deck kind of combo hand. So with no card draw in hand, I'm pretty sure we're supposed to mulligan here. But I don't know. I'm just like so excited about Fractured Realm, I almost don't want to. I'm just going to keep it. I mean, we're on the draw here. We could draw into a room if we're really lucky. And they might just kill us anyway, no matter how we mulligan. Because they can just combo out turn 1. Yep, Shroud Stomper to Commune. Yeah, you're probably supposed to mulligan this. It's basically just a pure combo format. My god. I don't think I've seen like any Shroud Stompers in any of my 2 drafts. And that card is awesome. Better than almost everything. Anything except like the Drowned Diners are really great. I would take those over them. Oh my god. They have 1 card left. Please don't be a counterspell. It's a counterspell. They're going to let that resolve, which means that they're holding it for Drowned Diner, which is the right play. So now I'm still going to try to bait it, but they're just going to counter Drowned Diner and get us. Oh, it's not a counter. Oh, they're so dead. They're so dead. Let's go. Oh, I can crack skull and see exactly what it is. Oh, they're so dead. I have draw 4 in hand already. I'm going to ditch the footage so I can bargain a Shroud Stomper. I can make them discard 2, but obviously they only have 1 card. Oh, it's the combat. They had to run the same filler combat trick. All right, cute. Let's draw 4. Oh, let's draw 10, baby. Woo! Wee! Oh my god. What do I even do now? Jesus. Okay, Mutilator sack a Widow's Walk. Make them sack 2 of their permanents. Yeah, we're gonna make their board completely empty and just have like 3 counterspells up, is the plan. I could absolutely draw my entire deck and put whatever I want to redraw on the bottom, but it's going to be so much simpler to just, yeah, deal with their whole board, and I have 2 counter spells up. So that's going to be the plan here. We probably just unlock the Meat Locker, stun both of those creatures, pass with 2 counter spells up. I don't think that was the right keep, but wow, did it pay off. We were just lucky enough to have a card draw room on top of our deck, and that's all we needed. Just a single card draw room was almost guaranteed to get us to draw our whole deck with the Fractured Realm. That was stupid, but that's Omniscience Draft for you. We were 1-0 heading into game 2. All right, it's definitely a keep. We just hope they can't counter Drowned Diner. Where are all the Shroud Stompers coming from? Come on. I've definitely passed at least one, but I don't remember seeing nearly this many. And I assume the only time that I pass them is in packs with a Drowned Diner. Well, might just lose for being on the draw here. They've drawn at least like 10 cards already, so the odds of them having a counterspell or 2 to just completely counteract us are much higher than if we were on the play. Yeah, there's a draw 5 off of the get out. Apologies for probably the staticky, buzzy sounds on the mic right now. Of course, they are doing lawn work right in my front yard. Right when I'm recording. I swear they do the lawn work like a different time each week just to spite me. Alright, we're super dead. Skullcrab is not going to work how they want it to, but it really doesn't matter. They're just going to lethal us with combat damage anyway. I mean, I guess it's possible they could mill our whole deck here. Still got like 10 in hand. There's another draw 2. $31 cards to 10. Discard 2. Sure. What are the odds of 0 counterspells in their top 30 cards? Oh, it doesn't matter. That's dead. Play this, trump 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That is exactly full. Oop, that's not the emote button. That's the mana button. Alright, we're dead on board. I mean, they can also just meat locker it. They have 3 meat lockers to use. Alright, that is going on the draw in Omniscience mode. Here we are for game 3. We are 1-1. Unfortunately on the draw again. This is a winning hand on the play. It's a draw 6, discard 2, and they only have 3 out of their 40 cards, so they're really unlikely to have a counterspell in the opener, but since we're on the draw, they get to be much more likely to have the counterspell to stop us from doing anything, and of course they have the chance of just popping off. Alright, well they didn't hit any card draw, but that might mean instead they just immediately have the counter, which would be sad. Let's start with Snatcher here, which I doubt they counter even if they have one. But just so we throw out some bait. Okay, they don't have the counter, so we are off to the races here. Okay, actually... Oh, okay, I win. I was gonna say, I think I actually have to discard the Snatcher here, but if I get to draw 5, it's just over. Marina Vendrel's Grimoire is broken. I can even discard their cards in hand. Be super safe. Yep, there's an Unnerving Grasp. It's going to take a while to make sure I'm playing this outright, but I am 100% confident that we have the win. Let's see what's in their hand. Just be super confident here. Yeah, they're so dead. Cool. Draw 2. Jesus. Oh, I do have to discard 2 to Addicts, so I actually want to just discard those then. 19 cards left. Let's Gazebo. Can we get Fractured Realm? No. Mirth, though. Mirth is real. Sack that, draw 2. There's Fractured Realm. Rip. Rip opponent. So now I have double triggers. So I can get out my 2 diners. Draw 6, discard 2. There's the Chandeliers. We want to discard all the Addicts because I have to discard with Grimoires for those. Alright, Chandelier to make sure we don't mill. Draw 6, discard 2 again. Have every counterspell in the deck. Discard an Attic. Discard. Grab the prize. 1 card left in deck, but here's Chandelier. Look through our graveyard. Put the biggest creatures back. Boom, 6/5. And this is all card draw. Oh, they're 3/3, I guess. All right. Now put Lethal Power on the board, holding up all the counterspells. We have triple counterspell. They have no cards in hand. Again, I'm pretty much 100% confident I could find a way to do a Chandelier loop for lethal, but let's just go for simple guaranteed lethal and not waste any more time here. All right. 20 power on board, well over 20 power, pass. 3 counter spells up. All right, that doesn't matter, but I might as well just to really make sure it's lethal. All right. 2-1, heading into game number 4. Well, that's an absolute keep, but we're on the draw, so we could always just die before we get to do anything. If we get a turn, they're probably going to die. We have card selection here. We get the best card of the top 3, best card of the top 4, and an additional draw 2. That is quite likely to keep the loop going and find more card draw to go very far into the deck. All right, we win. They did not have the card draw on the opener, and we've got the counter spell as well here. Oh yeah, we win. Oh, yeah, we win. Let's go. Fracture it up. Draw 4. Oh, that didn't work how I thought it would. I thought it was going to be sack and then draw 4 and not. I could sack 2 things. Yeah, I'll decline on the second trigger. All right, my bad on that one, but we're still going to draw our whole deck because Fractured Realm is stupid in this format. Draw 6, discard 2. Fnatic ain't even good right now. They got no cards in hand. Discard Cracked Skull for dang sure. Got the double counterspell here. So we're just looking for like our demon to kill 2 of their cards. That'd be pretty big. I'm shooting myself a lot. There's the demon. So demon sack Mirth. Kill 2 of their creatures. Removal spell the other creature. Put lethal power on the board. And win. Okay. 1 creature left. Yeah, there's the concession from opponent. I'm going to kill that creature with Betrayer's Bargain and then plop down an Altenac. That should be more than 20 damage, and we have 2 counterspells up when we pass the turn, so there's nothing they have to get out of it. We are 3 and 1. 3 and 1. All right, nice. Guaranteed at least a 50-50 record or better here. All right, we're on the play, and we've got the card draw. So we're going to go for it here. They've got the counterspell in the opener. We'll see if we get found footage countered. Because it is mildly threatening. That's a good one. All right, we're golden. Draw 3. There's a counter spell, so we're incredibly golden. Could probably rip their whole hand out of here when they only have 2 cards. I can get out a creature and an enchantment. So they have no cards in hand and we have a counter spell up. Sure, yeah. Get out on Drowned Diner Fnatic. Actually, I could get out 2 Drowned Diners instead. I can Grasp Fnatic here. And then get out Double Diner. I guess it's kind of the same either way. Yeah, there's the concession. We're going to make it so they have no card in hand. We're going to keep drawing our deck until we put 20 power on the board, and we're going to have multiple counter spells. That is 4 and 1, and yet another essentially turn 1 win. This looks like a mulligan. We just have a draw 1 here. I guess that kind of counts as a mulligan, right? Not quite, but like we get 1 more blind draw towards a draw spell. I mean, 2 of these cards just don't matter, and the other one's basically just 1 free mulligan. Yeah. Alright, there we go. What is going on, Arena? What's this about? You telling me what to ditch? Alright, I trust you, Arena, sure. Well, that's what I was going to do anyway. If we manage to get a turn here, we're going to Attic and then discard something the Attic draws to the grab the prize and try to get the chain going. Great as Altenac is, we'll just do 20 power of whatever nonsense. Alright, looks like our opponent's mulligan might not have worked out for them. They had a card draw spell in hand. I'd assume they play it before activating Ticket Booth. Oh! Each player exiles all but the bottom 6? I'm glad I have a Chandelier, but that's a win condition here, because everyone's deck just relies on drawing tons of cards. Can draw 4 and still have a deck, and then Chandelier can start looping things. I think we lose to Excruciator. Straight up. That actually might be sweet in this format. 3 cards left. Bottom card's Altenac. Altenac doesn't... Well, Altenac does matter a little bit. So I need to grab the prize to be able to actually have something engraved to put back on the bottom. Grab the prize. I guess I have to discard Snatcher. It's only a guaranteed way. Yeah. Could try to outrace them here. We've got to get out to counter a room. So here's Chandelier. Can't play the Attic. But I can Enigma to get Altenac drawn and then just put my other thing on the bottom. I think I went too slow. I'm going too slow. This format needs to have a different timer to understand. It needs to understand that you have infinite choices turn one. The timer needs to be bigger than it normally is, but it just has the normal timer, it looks like. Okay. Alright, that could have definitely been sequenced better, but the rope terrified me, so here we are. If they don't have a Chandelier, our Chandelier could win it. I guess they could end up having some way to kill the Chandelier. Okay, that doesn't quite kill us. Is this a May ability? It's not a May ability! Oh, I'm gonna die because they could just target Altenac. I had to counter that. Oh, I thought for sure that was like a May ability. God dang it. Oh, I could have played around that also if the timer wasn't so frickin' fast. Oh. Alright, we're fine. I live? Oh yeah, double strike. Okay, I lose the race though, because then I don't have any flyers I can play. I can't deal 18 here. I can't live another turn because we had no removal in our bottom 6. Alright, yeah, no, we just lose. The double striking excruciator. Yeah, spinning a completely different roulette wheel than normally. This time the roulette wheel is, does your opponent have removal in the bottom 6 or no? No, I didn't have removal, so I lose. And I can return Chandelier to my hand, I guess. Something. Okay. Return Chandelier. So I can chump block. Play Chandelier. Alright, I guess I should have activated it first. Wait, why did they wait to do that? We were so dead last turn to either way they did it. Alright, well, whatever. Could have died sooner, so at least there's that. But, yeah, I could have played that out a lot smarter, but our opponent could have as well. They could have killed us earlier. And, again, I think just not having removal in the bottom 6 means we just lose to the Excruciator. We lost the Doomsday lottery there. So 4-2 heading into game 7. That was a really cool one, though. Excruciator definitely flips an entirely different coin than you're used to flipping in Omniscience. It's relying a lot on a found footage, but found footage is essentially a full mulligan, right? If any of the next 3 cards would be good enough to get us there, we're going to draw it, so it's like we see the next 3 and these 2. So I think we keep it. Unless they have the counterspell, in which case they could have just countered the really good thing that we'd be hitting on the top 3. Wow. Those are a wombo combo. That is a keep. Yeah. This might be a turn 1 win here. If we can draw enough to draw our counterspells. Well, there's one of the counterspells and it is gone, but... Still 2 more in the deck. Oh, Grimoire. Yeah, this is GG. Oh, and I can put the counterspell on bottom, so that if we loop through the whole deck, we're guaranteed counterspells. Just do that immediately. Yeah, that is certainly a win. And there's the concession from our opponent. We are 5-2, so worst case scenario, 2 5-3 runs in a row, but if we can get at least one more win, then we are at a net positive in the money today, and I think enough gems that it's kind of like a net positive in these two drafts as a whole. We got 650 gems last time, this time 850 gems, so essentially breaking even on gems out of the two drafts if I can get one more win, and just taking all 8 packs as the gravy on top of the potatoes. All right, here we are on the play with a counterspell and a grab the prize. And there's a fanatic as well, especially if they mulligan. That's kind of interesting. If they mulled a 1, we just fanatic hold up Twist Reality. I don't know, the draw 2 could be big, but alright, they're over it. I was going to say, just make them discard their 1 card in hand and then hold up the counter spell if they top deck the card draw, and then hope that we draw our card draw spell first. They would have to draw 2 good card draw spells in the time it would take us to find 1 to win, since we're holding up a counter and they have nothing. Drawing blind. Plus, we don't know what we were going to draw off of discarding grab the prize. There's always a chance we immediately hit the card draw anyway. Alright, 6-2. Very simple, 10-second long game, but that absolutely happens in this format. Ooh, another lucky game. We're on the play with a real strong hand. If they can't counter Drowned Diner, it's going to be a rough time, and there's the mulligan. Start with footage. Did not seem like they have a counter, so we'll go with the Diner first, so I don't have to spend mana on that. Ooh, Fractured Realm. Yeah, I can use the Get Out then for a draw 6. But now I think I crack the footage first. Find Disturbing Mirth, I can double up as well. So double Disturbing Mirth, but I want more enchantments first, so I just get out a single Drowned Diner for a draw 6, that's worth it. I mean, I could pick up the Fractured Realm, but I would just replay it before I play the Diner anyway. Okay. 1 Cracked Skull is enough to make them discard their whole hand. Just need to get a creature on the board. Ditch the Enigma, because this is a draw 4. And then once this is on the board, I can Mirth away the Diner in the attic to draw another 4. Yep. Draw 6, discard 2. I mean, yeah, we've got it on lock now, so let's just play a creature that doesn't matter and skull that to make them discard their hand. This way, if they have any removal, they're just throwing it at a 3/3 instead of our actually important Chandelier. Cool. Alright, so that happened. Draw 6. Yeah, they're over it. Fair enough. We definitely have the win, but it's going to take some time. We need to draw... To play it safe, we need to draw our whole deck so that we spit 20 power onto the board and hold up 3 counter spells, and then Chandelier back a few cards to not mill. I guess we already spent some mana, so we can only Chandelier back 1 card, but you get the gist. We've done it many times before. The plan there, draw the deck, put 20 power on board, hold up a counterspell, have at least 1 card left in deck. And by a counterspell, because we haven't drawn any of them yet, that would be 3 counterspells actually. So it'd be literally impossible for our opponent to do something there. All right, sweet stuff. We managed to get a 7-win run here. We got a little luckier. Won a lot of die rolls today, being on the play obviously massive. And the draft itself is always a die roll in this format, where you're really hoping to open as many copies of derelict attics and meat lockers and like as possible. And I don't know why I'm searching by creatures and non-creatures. This is Omniscience, it really doesn't matter. But yeah, triple Drowned Diner, 4 derelict attic, huge part of the deck, but obviously Grimoire being pretty much the best rare in the format was massive, and Fractured Realm was quite a lot of fun and legitimately incredible. That made it pretty much impossible not to draw our whole deck. If we have a Fractured Realm in just any of these rooms, the first one, of course, finding the next ones. Really, really powerful stuff from the deck. When you count the Rickety Gazebos as well, we had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We had 9 rooms that draw 2 or more cards, and if you count Disturbing Mirth, which does need another permanent to go, but if you count that, that's 10 explosive pieces of card draw. With Grimoire, 11. So yeah, a little more than 1 out of every 4 cards in our deck could do a ton of card draw, because the double grab the prize 2, Get Out counts as soon as one of those rooms is on the board. This is like an additional copy of one of those rooms. If 2 of them is on the board, this is 2 copies of the rooms. Unnerving Grasp as well as another copy. The triple found footage to dig 3 cards deep for one of those 11 draw 2 or better cards. Also massive, as is the Commune with Evil. So this deck was one of the most consistent decks we've seen in terms of being able to literally draw the entire library. So that was pretty much always the game plan. Get our 20 power on board, draw the whole library, and hold up some twist realities. It panned out super well for us with some lucky draws, some unlucky opponents, a lot of opponents on mulligans today. But we'll take it. A full 7-win run for 950 gems and 2 extra packs of Duskmourn House of Horror. We are officially far in the money out of these Duskmourn House of Horror Omniscience Emblem drafts. But that is going to end today's video, and that is going to end the Omniscience drafts for the weekend. We're going to get back to a couple more Duskmourn House of Horror Alchemy drafts, and then we've got some really sweet stuff on the horizon. Kaldheim is coming back for Premier drafts, so I'm super pumped for that. And they're rotating through a bunch of flashback drafts. There's going to be Cube drafts, Kaldheim drafts, M20 drafts. What else is there going to be? Some Eldraine set or something? I don't remember exactly, but there's a lot of draft stuff coming up, so stay tuned for that if you're interested. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for supporting the channel, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed this and you're interested in seeing some more like it, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below, where I'm live once every 15 years. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.